Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen. Another edition of Post-Race Conversations. He's Caleb Barnes. I am Bryan Timothy Nolen, right here from Talladega Super Speedway. Mr. Barnes, we had a jam-packed day. Xfinity qualifying, Xfinity race, Cup qualifying, and then preparation for the Cup race. Start with the Xfinity side first. There was wrecks, there was carnage, but in the end, a big winless streak was broken and Sammy Smith clinched his spot into the round of 8. How surprised were you that it was not RCR in victory lane and it was someone other than that?
Pretty surprised. First off, RCR, I mean, Jesse Love looked good early, but we didn't really quite see the same domination out of Austin Hill that we've seen before. It wasn't like he wasn't up front, but I talked to him after the race, though. He still seemed pretty, I guess, fine with how the day went, especially considering that they were caught up in an accident. But I'm even more surprised that Sammy Smith was the one to pick up the win for Junior Motorsports, especially after they kind of took each other out there in that wreck with 3 laps left. And also, just because after Daytona, I believe Dale Jr. had some words just speaking about Sammy Smith. He was a little bit disappointed with his performance. And to see how far he's grown to come and win a race on this scale with this magnitude, with this much on the line, just really interesting to see.
Now, you mentioned his teammates. I think it was 3 laps to go. Brandon Jones was pushing. He's pushing, and then he gets into his teammate Carson Quabble. That also collected his other teammate in Justin Allgaier, which forced Allgaier to get damaged. He falls below the cut line. Significant damage, not in just this race, but also for the playoff race, for the playoff bubble. A lot of carnage happened. Surprised, not surprised, or were you just surprised of who was in the carnage?
Not surprised. A little bit more about who was in the carnage. It felt like pretty much all the playoff drivers had damage there at the end of the day, and especially, Sammy Smith, I believe Sam Mayer also, his car looked pretty clean, but he finished 16th. And then you see some of those guys that did have damage, they did end up finishing well. Like Jeb Burton had a shot. He finished in the top 10. So pretty surprising day. Justin Allgaier hasn't finished inside the top 10, inside the top 15 even, I believe, in the past 5 races. So
for a month stretch?
Yes. It's just kind of been that kind of a season, I feel like, for Justin. So.
Yeah, it's been a struggle. For more on that, you're going to be running a sidebar, or by the time this is up, the sidebar will also be up on Frontstretch.com, our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Frontstretch. Let's switch gears now. It was a little bit tense this morning because of the first person that was in the media center. That was Denny Hamlin. It was announced on Wednesday that 2311 and Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin were suing NASCAR for the charter agreement. What did we learn, if anything, from Denny's availability this morning?
Yeah, it was intense. You would think that all the campers, that's where all the intensity is, because that. But anyways,
that was like a Michael Massey joke, my man. You got to be better than that.
Look, it is what it is. But especially, it started off right off the get-go. Bob Pockris said, "How do you expect to win a championship when you're suing NASCAR?" And everybody went, "Oh." So, but really, I thought Denny. Obviously, he's not going to share too much insight, but I thought it was most interesting. He wasn't super upset or frustrated with NASCAR. He did share that he felt like he maybe hasn't been appreciated enough, but he just talked about, like, he wants this to turn into something that is going to be good for the sport in the long run. So I thought that was really interesting, and just the way that he's kind of standing up for himself, his team. And then he also mentioned that it's kind of almost getting something off his plate, that he's had this on his plate for a little bit, and they've been kind of looking at stuff, and now that it's out there, it's kind of off his conscience, and he can get back to focusing on the racetrack. So we'll see. Maybe that's why maybe it's not the dog. It's actually this thing kind of boiling underneath, and who knows? Maybe this is the year for Denny.
We'll have to wait and see for a few more weeks. Last but not least, no practice, but qualifying was currently happened. 2 rounds. First round was all Fords, and what do you know? Second round, all Fords again. But after 0 poles in his entire career, Malcolm McDowell's got 5 straight super speedway poles. Where did this ace in the super speedway category come from? Atlanta, Daytona, Daytona, and then I think here, 5 straight. Is it just a full-blown conclusion that when you come to a super speedway, a front row car is going to get the pole?
I think it's more of a Ford thing because they've been good. Front rows turned it up this year. I'll be curious to see after Michaels and the Spire equipment next year who will, like if it's Todd Gilliland or if I guess any of the other two front row guys will kind of step into that spot. But and we'll see also. Just it'll depend on a lot of factors. But I mean that 34 is fast in qualifying, but ultimately, I mean, it's Talladega. Anything can happen. Although qualifying does matter more with the track position game that these have turned into.
With that being said, let's dive into our race picks. We were both incorrect yesterday. We both picked RCR. So do not take this to a betting app or your local casino. I just want to make sure we provide all that. Listen to Through the Gears on the Frontstretch podcast network for way better analysis on betting. Caleb, thank God you're the analyst because I'll have you go first on this one.
I mean, you might as well like get a dartboard and put all the numbers on. The playoff guys they've won quite a few of these races.
I think every single one since Bubba?
Pretty much, yeah. And so, I don't know. Maybe I will go with the playoff guy. And, you know, Kyle Larson has had such bad luck. Maybe the best driver in the world gets it done somehow tomorrow.
Interesting. I'm going to go with a non-playoff driver. I think this guy was really, really close back in the spring. I think our pole setter gets it done. Mr. Michael McDowell. He won at Daytona. He last won at the Indy road course that's non-existent anymore. Michael McDowell breaks his winless streak, and he wins here at Talladega.
Step back over here on camera.
No, my bad. Sorry. I was distancing myself. For all the latest, once again, you got a Justin Allgaier sidebar coming up.
Yes, I do. That and kind of a piece on all the drivers reacting. Well, not all the drivers, but a couple of those that we talked to in the media center bullpen. They all kind of shared some thoughts here and there about the charter situation and the lawsuit.
Alex Bowman, among others, Tyler Reddick as well. So stay tuned for Frontstretch.com for all the latest. From Talladega Superspeedway, he's Caleb Barnes. I am Bryan Timothy Nolen. We're out of here. Talk to you tomorrow here from Alabama.
This is Custom Patch Hats. But what makes us custom? Well, that actually begins with you. We're just bringing your unique vision to life. No knockoffs, no lookalikes. Your design is one of a kind. We know hats, we know design, and we know quality. The proof? It's in our production. Hand-stitched with precision and care, with brands you know and trust. A one-of-a-kind patch deserves a one-of-a-kind treatment, all the way to your doorstep. It's how we keep it custom.
Steven Stump of Frontstretch.com here. Come back for more great racing videos, and if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.